have time for anyone who is going to come and tell me some BS story that's not true, that it doesn't add up. So she has all these receipts about their conversation from when, he was saying, come and see me, I'm in America, I'm doing a show, from their chats back and forth when she went to his hotel room and everything that happened between them, all the evidence she sent to me. Okay, all right, carry on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go on, African Doll.
So basically, we still kept in contact when he would go back and forth, to Nigeria a few times. He came back. He was like, "Oh, I have a show coming up in December." I even helped him. He messaged me, which I sent to you, about the tickets and Dallas SOPP Live in Farmers Branch, Texas. So my friend flew here. We went. Prior to that, I saw him around that same time. I even told him, which I sent messages to you, like, "Oh, I have you a gift," which he wore on his live. I think I sent that to you too on TV. He wore with the sweatshirt that I brought him. It was red, said worship, with him and Bashan Mitchell rehearsing before the show that was December the 24th. And so I'm not making it up. I even said, because I asked him on WhatsApp, I said, "Do you want me to open it for you so that you can see what I got you?" And he said yes. So I sent him a video of me opening it up, in which I have that video, and I sent to you on TV.
Yes.
And he wore that on his live rehearsal for the SOPP Dallas with Bashan Mitchell. So I'm not here to put him because he messaged me like, "Oh, do what you want." When he basically blocked me, he told me that he was done with the conversation. I'm trying to disgrace him. You're trying to disgrace me. Do whatever you want to me. And I'm telling him the whole time, like, look, I am not trying to get anything from you. I am not here to disgrace you. We are both wrong. He posted finally. If you look at his Instagram, he hadn't posted any pictures of a wife until like January the 11th. And that was kind of like after we had got into it. And, so whether, again, it's not to slander, to defame. He mentioned, "Oh, you're trying to blackmail me." No, I'm not. I've never asked him for anything. I've never asked him for anything other than respect, because he got very verbally aggressive, called me a fool. He called me an idiot. He was talking a bunch of rubbish, in the messages and over the phone, while he was in Nigeria, when I first told him, like, look, I even sent him pictures from the doctor, and I'm like, want to talk to the doctor.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't a matter of him not believing me, but what he said was to do the needful and get rid of it.
Yeah, so when we first talked about this, African Doll, I asked you specifically, because you told me, and the thing about, what I like about you is that you are a matured woman, and yes, you take responsibility for messing around with this man.
Oh, yes.
You're not saying
yes,
you are a victim. You didn't say
no,
this thing was, it was forced on you or anything. You agreed that, okay, it was consensual. You got into it.
Yes.
You knew what you were doing, and you did mess around with him. And then I asked you,
right,
did you know he's married? I asked you that question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I asked you, I said, did you know that Sammie Okposo is a married man? Mm-hmm. When you started, this, right, it's not a relationship. Right. When you guys started messing around.
Right. We never talked about him being married. Honestly, let me just say that he is someone that I listened to for a while. I didn't go digging in deep about anything. I think I was just kind of caught up in the moment of just, oh wow, this is somebody that I am fond of and I've been listening to for years, and for him to personally invite me and spend time with me on more than one occasion and take me to eat, and it just kind of like happened. I'm not saying that I did not know or that he did not know. No, I was a participant. I was a willing participant.
Right. Right.
And it's wrong. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's wrong. And I was trying to communicate with him like, okay, this is the situation. Where do we go from here? Even in the midst of this, I was still willing and trying to cover him.
So
I was telling him like, no, I wouldn't do that. No, and he's like, oh, I thought you were my friend. I thought you cared about my ministry. You're trying to disgrace me. You need to do the needful, and abortion and this and that. And I'm like, wow. Told me that he was going to no longer be accessible for me to talk to, and then he blocked me. And then I'm like, well, that doesn't make me go away. It doesn't make me go away. And talking to me like, oh, you think somebody will believe you? Some random person, like I'm a nobody, basically. So all of a sudden I'm a nobody.
Yeah. So you told him about the pregnancy. He wanted you to get rid of it, and then he didn't engage. He didn't engage again with you when you said, according to what you told me, you didn't say that you don't. I mean, you said you had not decided on what you wanted to do.
I had decided.
You said you had not decided. Specifically, this is what you said to me, that you have not decided. Now, let's talk about the situation in terms of your relationship in quotes. So you were saying each other back and forth, because I could see he was flying out of Lagos at one point. He was in the airport, took a picture and sent to you. He was going back and forth. So this was going on for some time.
For a couple of months, yes.
A couple of months. He was coming to the US and he was on a tour.
He was just touring here.
Right.
He ended the tour, and then he came back for he performed. He was in Atlanta. He was in Houston. So he was all over. Then he was here in Texas, December the 24th. I saw him before that show. Yes, ma'am. Yes. And he messaged me like, I thought you were my friend. I thought and I was like, well, I thought we were cool too. Now you're talking to me like somehow, and you're disrespecting me. It's like, oh, you better go and I need to speak with you now. And and I'm like, why are you talking to me like that all of a sudden? Because honestly, we didn't have any issues. We would spend time together and we were cool.
Right.
We would enjoy our time, quiet time, and it was okay.
Yeah.
But when you start to disrespect me and treat me, I don't care how much money you have, who you are, what you have attained in life. I am somebody.
And I said,
and you start telling me I'm evil and things like that.
Yeah. So it got messy, it got ugly when it came in.
It didn't have to be.
Yeah, and I remember asking you as well, African Doll, about protection. When obviously he's a married man, he's in ministry. Okay, because I know a lot of people out there are going to be very judgmental. But the funny thing about our community is that they always judge one person. Two people did it. So the two people, if there's going to be any judgment, I'm not here to judge anyone. Okay? The two people, if you are going to be acting all sanctimonious and doing like you are Mother Teresa on the comment section, please remember that two people were involved in this. And one of them is marriage. Okay? Sammie Okposo is the married party in this shenanigans. Okay? African Doll is not married. Right? So if you're going to be judging, remember that it's two people. It took two people to whatever happened and this pregnancy to happen. And I remember asking you this question when we were having that conversation. Did you guys ever talk about, having safe career, not using protection, either him or yourself?
No.
What did it come out?
No, we didn't. We never talked about using protection. And I think I mentioned to you when we spoke that, it just kind of like, okay, the last time we messed around, we knew that we had actually planned it. Like, it was planned when I come back, we're going to see each other. And we knew because we were joking about it. We were joking about it. I think in one of the messages, I was like, oh, when you come back, I want to take some pictures because my friend was coming here from another state to the show. And he said, oh, you'll get more than picked. You'll get more than
Yes,
picked.
I saw that chat. He said
you had sex before.
Yeah.
So at that time, I just didn't know that I was with child, because I didn't know at that time. I didn't find out until I went to the doctor January the 5th, and then went back the next day for blood work and your analysis on January the 6th. On the 5th, my BP was like 198/119, so I went back the next day. My doctor said come back for some testing and things like that. And that's when I reached out to him. I even told my friend, like, I don't know how to even reach out to this man. And, like, I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Like, we were wrong. And because of who he is, I just didn't know how to approach it. But I had to because, like, what else do I do? Like it's both of us, you know.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was still trying to reason with him. I was like, look, I can't make a decision in this moment. You know, originally he was like, okay, well, do the needful. And I was like, okay, you know, okay. But then as time progressed, I'm like, wow, he's not even giving me a chance to think about it, to pray about it, to ponder on it or anything. So when I talked to him the second time, he was in Nigeria. He was actually at a church, and he was like, okay, I'll be done in an hour and I'll call you.
Yeah.
So we spoke, and he's like, okay, I thought you were going to do this. And I was like, look, I haven't decided yet.
Yes.
And so that kind of pissed him off. He was like, I'm pissed. I'm livid. You know who I am. You know what, you tried to disgrace me. And I'm like, no, like, that's not my goal. That's not my goal. But what you cannot do is just, you do what you do. I don't care what platform you're on. We're all human. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to see him fall from grace or any of that. I am saying, hey, we are adults. Let's handle business. What do we do?
Yeah.
Now, being who I am, I was still willing to be like, you know what? Okay, let me just try to figure it out on my own. But why should I have to? Why should I have to?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So the conception happened with two people. You were having a good time, and unfortunately, both adults in this thing didn't think about, protection, knowing that, this is likely to happen, and it did. Now, you are saying that since, everything was cool until, he was going back to Nigeria, coming back to the US, we were hanging out. I even saw a chat where he was telling you to come and meet him, buy KFC as you are coming. He was going to Nigeria. He told you to do some shopping. You took him somewhere. You drove him to somewhere. He bought phones.
I took him to go get a phone when I was in Texas. I went to see him in Houston. He was like, "Oh, can you take me to look for a new phone?" We went to Best Buy. We went to another phone store. We went, to eat after that to Olive Garden. I'm like, we didn't have any issues until this situation.
Yeah.
And because I'm not doing what he want me to do, now you want to block me out and you want to, no, that's not fair.
So what African Doll is saying, in case you didn't get it, if you miss it, we don't want to use the A word because
disrespectful, very hurtful, very disrespectful. Somebody that he obviously made time for me, and spent time with me. He sent me the address to the hotels. He, invited me to the other two shows, the last two, and I'm like, we both were in this. So he was in ministry then, he was married then, he knew what he was doing. No, we didn't use protection. We didn't stop and say, oh my God, let's run downstairs and see if they have condoms in the vending machine or in the lobby. We didn't, neither one of us thought about that, and he, as a married man, performing oral sex, so he knew he was in ministry at that time. He knew. He knew that.